Is it just me, or did everybody else take like 30 to like 40 seconds to read the latest chapter of Bleach, chapter 579, titled The Undead Part 6? Not sure if it was because there was... Well, it wouldn't be because the content was little, because the content was alright, but I just felt like I was breezing through the pages, and before I knew it, I'd come to page 1920, and it was over. I'm like, did I read anything, or what exactly the hell just happened? Anyways, guys, I'm Koshi from Otaku Related here, coming at you today with the latest review of the Bleach Manga chapter, chapter 579, titled The Undead. And I have to say, quite frankly, I was a little bit disappointed due to the fact that it did only take me a minute max to read the entire chapter. Finishing off from last fortnight's chapter, how we have Gremmy the V basically spontaneously combusting after he imagined Zaraki Kenpachi within himself, which is explained within this chapter. But this chapter just goes on to continue what you could say to be a sad story of what happens to Gremmy the V after he died. So it kind of makes the audience feel remorseful towards Gremmy in a sense, even though I did not feel any remorse whatsoever towards Gremmy. I'm like, he's dead, awesome, yay, hurry up and let's get on to the new baddie. But in more detail, in more explanation of what Gremmy really did do, and again I quote, he does say, "Was I killed by my own imagination? No, I wasn't. I surely imagined his power perfectly." So Gremmy starts to think, then if he imagined his power perfectly, what could have the side effect been towards his imagination to make his imagination kill himself? The thing Gremmy could have not imagined was that Zaraki Kenpachi's power can only be hosted within Zaraki Kenpachi's body. So transferring that power into a secondary object or secondary body would just cause it to essentially explode, just as you saw with Gremmy the V. Also, Gremmy the V goes on to state that his calculations were too correct, that he imagined Zaraki Kenpachi's too perfectly, which is why it essentially did end up killing him. So then, after Gremmy the V dies, we find out something a little weird, or I guess you could say a little mysterious. There was a little bit of mystery behind Gremmy the V, to the fact that Gremmy the V isn't Gremmy the V as we know. Gremmy the V is actually just the brain. Yes, just a brain, nothing else. There's no heart, no eyes, no form, no physical, no technical physical form, no humanly body, no of that, I forgot what they're called, the stone Ritter body. He's just a brain, just an organ, one organ, a brain. Which is why he goes on to say that, like I said before, I won't even lift one finger to defeat you, but even though he didn't defeat him, he still nevertheless did not lift a finger, because as the brain, all he did was imagine the body, essentially. So that is where his, you could say, unlimited source of power comes from, just being a brain, just that one organ. But yeah, overall, nothing really happened in this chapter, so I'm really just trying to squeeze out as much juice from this chapter as I can to review it, but not a lot happened except for the fact that we find out that Gremmy the V is only a brain, and that he died because he could not imagine Zaraki Kenpachi's power being hosted anywhere else but inside of Zaraki Kenpachi. So because he tried to transfer Zaraki Kenpachi's power from Zaraki Kenpachi within himself, his body couldn't handle it and just basically exploded. Actually, there are two more points that were interesting. One of them lasted like one frame, and that point is that Yachiru, I forget how to pronounce her name, Yachiru. So she's nowhere to be found. So Zaraki can't send her Reiatsu, and none of the other people who are part of Zaraki's squad can also send her Reiatsu. But then there was a frame where Zaraki looks down and he sees Yachiru's coat, or the Black Soul Society cape, or whatever it is, the uniform that they wear. It's just sitting there, like, I think it's folded, I don't know, but it's just there, like she was basically, I don't know, her body just disintegrated and left the uniform, something like that. So Yoshi is nowhere to be found, yet her uniform is. So Zaraki is kind of in a panic. Another thing which happens at the end of the chapter is that we have the new baddies finally come in, and they name them the Female Knights. So I think they appeared in a chapter previously, but it's just 4 girls, and I don't know if they're strong or they're weak, but Gremmy the V did spout himself to be one of the strongest Stern Ritters, so obviously if Gremmy the V couldn't defeat Zaraki, then how the hell do these women, do these girls expect to defeat Zaraki? Like, I mean, seriously, you know, like, what are you thinking? However, Zaraki has finally felt the damage, or felt the damage that Gremmy dealt on him within that battle. So he does say that some of his organs have been damaged and that he can't hear because of the explosion, and he does end up coughing up some blood. But overall, like I said before, this chapter was quite disappointing because 40 seconds to a minute max is what took me to read over this chapter. More to the point, probably because there were more pictures than there was writing, so there wasn't really a lot to read. And when there was writing, it was probably like 3 sentences max, not even. Most of them were just 3 words max. And yeah, just I gotta say, just it did let me down because I was expecting more after reading Naruto, after reading One Piece. I mean, that hype, and then, you know, reading Bleach, I was kind of expecting it to hit up with that benchmark, because in the past Bleach has been hitting a benchmark, it's been making a benchmark, and it's been keeping it, but it's chapters like these that, you know, let that benchmark down. But I'm assuming after it does reveal these new baddies and Zaraki is in no position to continue fighting, that one new person will be revealed, and, you know, I can hope that it will be Ichigo, and I'm hoping, you know, like, we can all hope, but it more than most likely won't be Ichigo to be revealed within the next chapter to fight these 4. Who will fight these 4? I'm not 100% sure right now. It could really be anybody from Soul Society, because personally, to me, when I look at them, they don't really look too strong. Yeah, just like, if, you know, you're judging a book by its cover, it doesn't really look too strong. But yeah, overall, that was really my review of the Bleach Manga Chapter 579, titled The Undead Part 6. What did we find out? That Gremmy is only a brain, that he died because he could not imagine Zaraki Kenpachi's power being transferred to any other body but Zaraki. So because he transferred that power from Zaraki to himself, he died, obviously. Then a new baddie comes in, and that Yachiru is nowhere to be found, and her uniform is just lying there flat on the ground. So we kind of, yeah, 4 minor things that they really discuss in very minor detail, and hopefully they go on to discuss it more in the later chapters. Anyways, guys, I really hope you liked this review. Oh yeah, the Otaku random question of the day, even though this is Naruto, but it is of the day. So what is your favorite Naruto character? As I said before in my Naruto review, Fangasm, it was a tie between Jiraiya Sensei and Itachi, but Jiraiya Sensei just took it for the win because I just like Jiraiya Sensei's comedic nature. It's really, you know, good for that kind of personality, for somebody to be funny and strong, especially when that person doesn't really look strong. I mean, when you saw Jiraiya Sensei the first time, did you really think, oh my god, that guy's going to be OP and he'd be able to fight Pain's, the 6 paths of Pain, and go 1v1 against Itachi? I mean, he made Itachi flee. Anyways, that was Naruto, this is Bleach, so let's just throw that aside. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Leave your answer to the Otaku random question of the day in the comment section below. Leave any comments, theories, thoughts, questions, anything that you may have for me in the comment section below. If you'd like to read some manga together, watch some anime together, whatever. I know there's that Hangout feature in Google+, so, you know, follow on Google+, and, you know, whatever. But yeah, this was my review for Bleach Chapter 579, titled The Undead. Thanks for watching, and as always, guys, have a great day.